I got a notification. It's alive.
There we go. We are live. Yes, everyone. Welcome to today's Teaching
Hi.
Culture Drive, where we are talking all things Greek. I am super excited. My name is Sandy. I'm filling in for the fabulous Claire, who normally hosts these culture dives. She's unable to make it today, so I get the benefit of talking or listening and learning about Greece with all of you. Um, with these culture dives, one of the main values and principles based for these culture dives, the reason why they were set up is to learn the best ways that we can all respect and the people and culture of a particular country, and to discover the purposes behind the different celebrations and traditions, and just get a deeper look into a country, so that when we go and travel there or meet someone from there, that we are our best selves. I am joined by two panelists, our Greek experts today. First, we have Ari. She is fabulous. She's an international planner, producer, and destination expert, especially in specializing in remote events and mindfulness and executive retreats. She was born and raised here in the US in the Bay Area in California, but she is Greek without a doubt, growing up in the Greek community. Isn't that right, Ari?
That's right. Thanks, Sandy. Perfectly said.
You visit Greece at least once a year, if not more, right?
I do. Yes, definitely. I spend my summers there, and then sometimes I go back in the winter time too. Due to COVID, I'm not there yet, so I'm currently in Honolulu until further notice.
But tell everyone where your family is from specifically.
So my family's from Athens, from the city, from a northern suburb, from Marousi, if you guys are familiar with the city of Athens. And my dad is from this island called Alonissos, which is in the Aegean Sea, and it's in northern Greece in this group of islands called the Sporades. So he's out there. It's only accessible by boat. It takes about a full day to get there from Athens. And there's only about 1,000 people that live there year round. So it's pretty quiet. If you go there in the wintertime, nothing going on. You'll just be drinking all day.
And
Sounds
eating.
heavenly.
Yeah.
Perfect. Thanks, Ari. Can't wait to hear more about that. And we have Nikos, who was born, raised, and is currently still in Heraklion, Crete. Is that
Yes.
right? Yes.
Yes, it is correct. I
And
still.
you're working towards your bachelor's in business administration.
Yes, I'm trying to. It's not that easy working and studying.
I'm sure, and it's quite late right now where you are, huh?
Yes. Late, not that late. It's 9 o'clock, so
Not
we
late
have
for
plenty of. No, not
Not
late for a
for
Greek.
it's dinner. It's dinner time now in Greece.
Uh, in an hour, maybe.
Awesome. Well, and Nikos, you as a traveler, your kind of claim to fame is that you traveled to Vietnam before pre-trendiness, correct?
Yes.
Yes.
After I visited Vietnam, I always listen to people. Oh, I'm visiting Vietnam. I'm visiting Vietnam. I got you.
And also, funny enough, you say that you've traveled to more places abroad than you have actually within Greece.
Yes, that's true. It's actually it's cheaper traveling abroad.
Oh wow, that's so interesting.
Yes, it's true. It's very, very true.
Well, you growing up and still being in Greece, I'm sure you'll give all the right tips and everything, your expertise on Greek culture.
I will try.
Yes, definitely. We have our faith in you for sure. I'm going to use my 5 words of Greek vocabulary and say kalimera and kalispera to each of you, and then I'm going to leave the rest of the Greek to you guys. If to the Trip Scout Nation, if you have questions for these guys, feel free to throw it in the comments, and we'll try and get to them after we get through our questions. All right. So first off, let's talk about in what ways can travelers ensure they show respect for Greek culture when visiting. Ari, do you want to start?
Sure. I think for starters, go for the history, not just the beaches and the parties. I think also learning how to say hi and thank you, learning a few words. Greeks get very excited when you you speak a few words of Greek like yourself, right? I was, just they get glowing that you actually take the time to learn a few words. I think also Greeks like to ask a lot of questions, and sometimes it may feel like they're intruding on your maybe personal space, right? Because they'll talk to you about, if they're like, if you're from America, they'll be like, oh, well, they'll want to talk about your president, or they'll bring up, their politics or religion, or they want to know, well, what do they say about Greece, where you live, and they'll ask you about your job and your money and all these things. But it's not it's in a caring way, and it's to kind of build relationship. It's not in a kind of in any other manner. It's just to be kind and to like be friendly. So they'll definitely have conversations with you, if they speak English, the taxi drivers talk to you. It's just, and they ask you a million different things. So if you're, just be open to it, and then it only helps them educate more, right, on what's going on in like the rest of the world. I think Greeks also never set a time schedule. Greeks, maybe Nico can, agree to this, but it's like,
Yeah.
oh, we meet for coffee later. Okay. And I'm always like, when's later, right? Oh, in the afternoon. Okay, well, when in the afternoon, right? Well, afternoon in Greece is anytime after 5 p.m., right? So not at 2 or 3 that we're, known for in the States. So you just kind of, they go with the flow, and then you end up talking to the person throughout the day of like, okay, when are we meeting and kind of where. There's never kind of a strict time of like exactly when you'll meet. So that's something I've had to adapt to with my kind of Greek American side, which is kind of interesting. And then I think another thing to take note when you're visiting is if you get invited to somebody's house, it's customary to bring something, whether it's usually like a sweet or a wine. It's kind of nice. And then I would say, lastly, don't refuse food. It's impolite to refuse food. Whether or not you're hungry, it doesn't matter. You have to eat it. So
who's gonna hate that, ladies?
Yeah, so that would be my, I guess.
If the food is good, never say never.
Yeah,
I don't think I've ever had bad Greek food, so I don't think that's
yeah, so I think out of those would be kind of my key takeaways, out of respect for visiting.
Amazing. I love the part where you're saying that sometimes your American side kind of struggles with the Greek timeline.
It does, because I'm like, why can't you just tell me what time I need to be there or come over to your house? It's like, I'll call you. It's like, great. And then I feel like I'm sitting around half the day waiting for you to call me to tell me when I'm coming over for coffee, right?
Well, when we go out with friends, mostly, we like to go for let's say a coffee. We have a saying, if we can say that. We go for coffee in Christmas and we leave around Easter. This is how much we stay.
That is a Greek coffee timeline.
Yes. And food timeline also.
Yeah, and that's like clear your calendar, right? A couple
months.
Yes. No,
couple months you have to do it.
I think actually that's one of the more endearing things about Greek culture is that you have this kind of passion for just living life, right? Without the restrictions of, oh, I got to be here and this and that. It's just, let's enjoy this time that we have together whenever we get together eventually.
Right.
Okay. No, continue, Ari, continue. What you were saying.
I was just going to say it's just a very laid back, kind of free spirited, in a sense.
We have to say that we are also very punctual to our meetings with friends. When we say, okay, let's meet 9 o'clock, you call your friend, where are you? I'm in the street, and normally he or she isn't even in the bathroom yet. That's a very common thing.
Yeah, good to know. So if you're hanging out with going out with Greeks, just know if they're saying they're on their way, they're just in the bathroom, right, Nikos? Is that what you're saying?
Maybe,
Mine
but
too.
the majority is this.
They're gonna be there. Just
They, yes, they are. They definitely going to be there.
well, that's good. So that means that they'll stick to their word. And all right, I love the part that you mentioned earlier, though, about that Greek curiosity.
Yeah.
In the questions. I noticed a lot too when I'm there, but as you said, it's absolutely because they just want to know and they ask a lot of questions, but I guess it's a great sign that they're just like they want to know about you and where you're from, and so it's a good thing.
Yeah, no, they definitely care. But even my family, like my cousin's husband, I mean, he'll get personal. He'll ask me, how much do I pay for rent? How much money do I make? How much this or that? But it's not in any kind of negative way, right? But there are a lot of questions that we may not be as used to or comfortable, even discussing with some of your close friends.
For sure.
It's
Yeah.
it's also for a because we like to compare
Yes.
things. How much does it cost in USDs? How much we pay here, and it's a comparison mostly.
That's right.
That's good to know. That's a very good thing to know about Greek culture. All right, so let's move on to the next question. So the next one is there an experience or place that you would recommend every traveler experience that's kind of off the beaten path or not as well known? So no Santorini, I guess.
No Santorini or Mykonos, although they're my favorite and I go all the time.
Yeah, there's obviously places in Santorini and Mykonos that not everyone knows about. So those are gems too.
It's a small island. Santorini is a small island, so
Yeah, it is a very crowded one.
yes. I
Beautiful.
saw a picture from last year, I believe, from the harbor.
Yeah,
There were so many people that they didn't fit.
yeah, it's very tough when the cruise ships kind of.
Not only the cruise ship, but just for people visiting.
Yeah.
Not only the cruise ships.
But Nikos, is there a place like, let's say, if someone was going to Crete, like what are some of the kind of hidden gems or where locals go that maybe you don't want to tell us because then we'll all go there. Any hidden places or tips that you would want to share with?
There are so many places that it's hard to choose.
All right, so if I'm saying I'm coming to Crete and I'm going to Heraclion and I'm going to ask you to guide me for 2 days. Where are you taking me?
First day, Knossos and the Archaeological Museum. It's a must-see. I didn't hear you.
Oh, why is it a must-see?
It's the oldest civilization that existed in Europe. So
we got to know our history, right?
Yes, yes, definitely.
Yep.
The other day, Tora, now we will see. It depends on our mood.
Let's go remote.
Yes, we want to relax. We want to. What do we want to do?
We want to relax. I think the vibe is definitely relax. So either a beach or maybe even some mountain fresh air.
I would prefer beach. If it's summer, definitely a beach.
Definitely beach.
Yes. I'm not.
There are so many.
Let's go to the beach then. Is there a beach that you would recommend or a particular part of the island that is less maybe inundated by tourists?
Open Google Maps and you will find one. There are so many, I don't know their names.
That's
you go to them, you just drive.
Yes, drive. Google Maps, I want to go there. If you have a four-wheel drive car, you can go almost everywhere.
Awesome. Ari, do you have any suggestions?
So I think it's basically going to the non-touristy places. There are so many islands in Greece, right? And you can still, and then my recommendation is you pick the cluster of islands you want to go to or where you want to go, and maybe limit where you're not going to. The goal should not be as many islands like to check off your list. You should pick an island or two and actually stay 4 or 5 nights a week, right? Instead of over quality over quantity, right? And then also being smart when you're planning as to, like, if you're going to go to the group of islands where Mykonos is, right, in the Kykladas, don't pick an island on the Ionian Sea, right, kind of on the other side, just because travel wise and getting there is not as convenient. But I think, yeah, I would suggest there's a lot of islands that are more kind of untouched, I guess, and not, and I usually ask people like what type of vacation they're looking for. Yeah, there's the party, in Mykonos and Ios and all that. You can find all of that. But yeah, I would go to some of more rural, more nature, even taking a road trip throughout mainland Greece, I think is really nice. And you can stop off at a lot of other little villages. And then even like where my dad lives in Alonissos, I think that's really off the beaten path. I know Greeks go there on vacation and you get a lot of there's a lot of folks from the UK and Scandinavia and Germans that like to go there to that island, but every American I've ever spoke to just never heard of it and doesn't know where it is. So that could be off the beaten path, right? You would never, go there, but if you went there, you would fall in love.
Yeah. So what I'm getting from the both of you is this sense that it's actually very easy to get off the beaten path.
Yeah, super.
Kind of go with the flow, which seems a very Greek thing to do anyway, and just drive around and you'll, without a doubt, hit a beautiful beach.
Correct. Yeah, especially in the summer. Yeah. I mean, you go to the local tavernas that are literally on the beach, right?
Mm-hmm.
That are physically there, right? Everybody's first trip to Greece that I encounter, they always go to Santorini and Mykonos. And yes, I go there too. I love it, right? And I consistently go there, but I also try and pick a new island, one or two every year that's kind of off the beaten path and go explore, other places. So, because that's where you really experience the true Greek hospitality and the culture is in some of those, smaller islands. You're going to pay way over prices for Santorini and Mykonos, and it's more cosmopolitan. It's not
especially Mykonos.
True Greece, right? I mean,
yeah.
And honestly,
especially in Mykonos.
Yeah, especially Mykonos.
There's thousands of Greek islands, right? Like
there's thousands.
I think 3,000 inhabited and not inhabited.
So again, very easy to get off the beaten path because I assure you, no one knows 3,000 islands off the top of their head. I mean, we all know like 3. So
yes,
correct.
Right? How do you guys normally get to the islands? Just logistically, are you taking ferries? Are you flying? Like, what is your normal go-to?
I normally take the ferry. So if I'm going to Santorini, I fly. It's so much easier to fly there. It's also because from Athens, it's quite far to take the ferry. But generally speaking, depending where you go, I take a high-speed ferry. And then when you're already in one cluster of islands and it's easy to take, then they have the other high-speed ferries that go around, right? And so you just have to do a little research and studying and look at the map and then kind of figure out, right? So you're not going all the way down here and then going all the way up, right? So kind of plan your trip in the islands you want to go to based on the route, right? So, and if you do want to go to Santorini, then maybe like ferry to Mykonos, go see some other off the beaten islands, then get down to Santorini and then fly back, right? To where my dad lives, you either can fly to the island of Skathos and then take a ferry from there, or you have to go up to another port called Volos, and from there you can take a high-speed ferry. So depending on what islands you're going to, some have airports, all of them have boats. You can go on a slow boat if you really want, but if you're on a tight budget. And then you could charter your own boat.
Also,
as an option.
Yeah.
If you can afford it.
If you can afford, I will happily be your tour guide if you You'd like to
Me
There,
too.
everyone.
anyone on here wants to start our boat.
Um,
Yeah, so but it's really easy, and it's really easy to book your ferry tickets and just to even do it on site. It's not something you need to necessarily do way in advance.
Yep. And not to be super logistical, but like for instance, if let's just pick an island like Santorini that everyone is well known, like
Right.
what was the difference in timing approximately? Just give us an idea between a high speed ferry and a slow ferry.
From Athens, I think it's about 5 hours, and a flight is 40 minutes.
Okay, so if time.
Oh, and it saves you time, and then you don't have to go down to the port and then deal with all those people. I mean, now with COVID, it's probably they're limiting tourists, I imagine, but you don't have to deal with this mass group of tourists down there. I prefer to fly to there personally.
Yeah, it's better to fly.
Yeah.
It's also limited with the ships. They depends the capacity of the ship. There's a percentage of how many people can board.
Yeah, because some of those like slower ferries, they're also making stops along. That's what makes it slow, right? And they're picking up passengers and dropping them off. So it can take a long time.
It can take a really long time. That's why I paid the extra for the high speed, because the slow ones, I mean, you could be on there for 10 hours.
We have bars though, so that's
True.
If you like sailing, or you could, there's no problem with that.
Yeah, for sure. Nikos, if in looking at Crete as the size of an island, I think sometimes people think island and they think these like little tiny things, but I mean, to get from one end of Crete to the other, or to get around, how long do you think it would take someone?
How long if, let's say, you want to make some stops to see places, it is going to take too long. It's it's the 5th biggest island in the Mediterranean, and the 88th in the world.
88th largest?
Yes.
Wow.
I checked it before because I couldn't remember if it was the 4th or the 5th in the Mediterranean. And I check it, they say, okay, number 88. Okay. It's a big one.
It's a big island.
Big island, yeah.
Yes.
Your head.
Yes. From where I live to Hania, which is right about, let me.
Yes, let's do a little geography.
Like the weatherman.
No, that way. Where is about the top of my head? Yes, it's where the Suda Bay is. It's about 160 kilometers, 100 miles.
Oh, wow.
About 100 miles. So it's from, I think it's from the one side to the other side, it's about 200 or so kilometers.
Awesome. And okay, we're going to move along on this topic, but I just wanted to mention, because we were talking about it before we went live, but this understanding that in Greece, everyone loves the beaches because they're beautiful and best in the world. My bias there, probably yours as well, but that there are so many other parts of Greece, right? There are mountains and rural areas and kind of desert areas and so many different topographies that
Correct. You can go skiing in the winter. I think one of the misconceptions of Greece is people think it's tropical, and I'm like, it's not tropical at all. It has 4 seasons. Yes, our season for spring and summer travel is like from Easter time to September, October, right? And depending on the island and where you're going, some islands close a little bit earlier for the season, some extend a little bit longer, the more popular ones, right? But the winter time is just as beautiful to travel there and be in the city, be in Athens, and and do road trip and go up to the north, and there's small little winter villages that are just great. And then even like the bakeries like change out their food, and we eat all these traditional cookies only in the wintertime that you can't find and eat in the summertime, right? So it's you know, there's, I think the misconception, yeah, summer I do think is the best time to go, but yeah, there's just so much more.
Yeah. And guys, am I remembering this right? That a lot of the Greeks themselves go on holiday
Yes.
in August, is it? Or
Yes. Yes.
so
Yes.
for anyone that's planning as well, just realize the islands get really crowded even more so sometimes because all the Greek people go on holiday.
You're right. Greeks vacation in their own country. Greeks go, you know, to Greece, like, you know, like in
Go to
their own
Greece?
place, or they have their own, you know, village. They go to their village, or they go to their house, or they go to wherever they're from, right?
Mhm.
So yeah, they vacation in their own country, and usually August is the month they take off. A lot of businesses are closed, and you'll find it. So it's also the most expensive time to go.
All right.
Because
go to Greece, don't go in August if you can avoid it. Guys, I want to talk about something that I really want to learn more about, and that is name day.
Ah.
Talk to us about the significance of name day in Greek culture. Nikos, do you want to start? Do you want to tell us what name day is for anyone out there who doesn't know what name day is?
It's the day we celebrate our patron saint. I celebrate my name day in December 6th every year. So
basically, name is for a patron saint. So is
yes,
that my understanding? So everyone that's named Nikos has a
it's
name
from Nikolaos.
Nikos.
Uh,
Okay.
Nikolaos. If you want to translate it in English, it means the victory of the peoples.
Oh, that's a powerful name.
Excuse me 1 minute.
Yeah. All right.
I'll get back to you in a second.
Yeah, no problem.
So basically, every day of the year is devoted to a saint or a martyr. And that's what a name day is. And your name, when you're baptized, that is your name. And you're usually named after a saint or a martyr. You have a Christian name. And so, generally speaking, a name day is celebrated like your birthday. A lot of people don't remember birthdays, but you remember your name day. So if it's St. George's Day, then you call up everybody in your phone named George and you say, you know, happy name day, right? And from a theology standpoint, your birthday actually starts the day you die. So that's why you celebrated name day in lieu of your birthday. We still celebrate birthdays and name days. So we actually in Greece, we get two holidays, right? And traditionally you would stay home on your name day. So you would have like an open house, and your door would be open and people would come visit you throughout the day to wish you a happy name day. And in the morning, it would literally start with chocolate and liquor. And then if you stayed a little bit longer, then I'd give you a piece of like a sweet. And then if you stayed a little bit longer, you would get like a larger piece of cake. And then if you stayed a little bit longer, I would give you some whiskey and nuts. And then if you stayed that long, then you get dinner. So so people could drop in and out, or if you end up staying the whole day, then I end up feeding you kind of throughout. So now traditionally people, I think, go out to celebrate like a birthday. Maybe the older folks stay home too, but that's kind of how it was historically speaking, that you would be home on your name day and have this open house and people would come wish you a happy name.
Yep, I agree with you, Barbara. I think, ladies and gentlemen, let's just all raise our hands and agree that we're going to turn name day into a global phenomenon, and we should just
and you can look up your name day. So you can just Google like Greek name days and put your name in, and then I know people that don't maybe have a Christian name, and we'll find them a name. We'll just find you a similar Greek name, and I'll just give you a name day.
I love it. I love it. That is such a beautiful tradition. Are there any?
There was a Barbara that was commenting.
Yes.
So Barbara, her name day is December 4th.
Wow, you just know these things.
Yeah, I know that one because it's my mom celebrates on December 4th on St. Barbara's Day. So that's your name day.
She's so happy. You got one. Are there any other customs, you guys, that are kind of traditions from ancient Greece or traditional Greece that are still celebrated today that you can think of?
I would think, well, there's a lot of religious holidays. I mean, the Greek Orthodox Church goes back to the first century AD. So, and a lot of the traditions of the church are still celebrated exactly the same way. I think the Olympic Games, they're still celebrated. I would say olive oil, wine production,
Raki, Tsipuro production, or
those
Yes.
Raki and
olive
Tsipuro mainly. Uso is more, it became more
popular.
industrial.
Yeah.
It's being produced in mass quantity, so you have to know someone so you can visit the period when they produce it, if you find anyone in these days.
Question for you guys, just out of curiosity, it's something I've observed, but I find that kind of the people that my Greek friends tend to celebrate Christmas, but it's not as passionate as they are like with New Year's and other holidays. Am I accurate in thinking that, or what's going on there?
New
Because,
Year,
yeah.
New Year symbolizes a new beginning. So you celebrate with, say, okay, I'm gonna try to do something better, something new, and that's why.
Awesome.
Yeah, I think it's true. So I think on New Year's is historically where they exchange gifts. So when you spend New Year's with your family, and so you're with your family at home at midnight, and and then you can go out later if you want to go out with your friends, at 1:30 in the morning, and you can stay out, all night. But it is a bigger holiday, and they actually, their version of Santa Claus is Aios Vasilis, which is Saint Basil. Well, Saint Basil's Day is January 1, so that's when Santa Claus comes and visits you and brings you the gifts. So I think Christmas is celebrated more of, everybody celebrates it around the world. It's more of a commercialized holiday. Yes, there's some religious aspect to it too, but I do agree that New Year's is a much bigger holiday over Christmas itself.
Yeah, because it's so funny because they're always like, "Oh, let's go traveling," and it's always over Christmas, and I'm like, I can't leave my family.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah, yeah.
no.
That's right.
But then opposite,
They're
say
with your
they're
family
like,
here,
no, will
right?
not over New Year's.
Right, exactly.
And of course, I'm sure a lot of people already know this, but Greek Orthodox, so you have different times when Easter falls, for example, as well in the calendar year that some people aren't accustomed to. So that can
Right.
affect your, enhanced travel plans, I guess, because I think that's a unique time or a unique, experience when going to Greece.
Correct. Yeah, it usually falls a week after the traditional Easter than the Roman Catholic Easter, I guess, but yeah, and then occasionally every few years it's a month later. I don't know. They follow a different calendar.
Mm-hmm. Okay, awesome. All right, so also another favorite topic of mine, food. So what would you recommend to someone who wants to immerse themselves in the Greek food culture?
Oh,
Go for it.
Are you hungry? Is that why you're sighing?
No, there are so many foods that you could try that it's hard to distinguish what, or try whatever looks good to your eye. I can't tell anything else.
Okay, guys. So if I say like moussaka, because everyone knows moussaka, an actual like traditional Greek dish that Greeks love, or is that just a very kind of Western thought of thinking what Greek food is like?
I think it's more Western a little bit. I prefer not to eat moussaka and pasticcio, like those cooked dishes is what they translate into English in Greece, only because when you're Greek, you're used to the way your mother makes it or your grandparents make it, and those are dishes you eat at home. Mm-hmm. So as a Greek person, I generally don't order that when I go out to restaurants, and a lot of the times you need to ask them if it, unless you see it. There are some restaurants that you can go in the back and you could use, they have all the cooked food and then you can pick and then you know it's fresh. But a lot of times the touristy places, they make that and it can be old. And they'll serve it to you because you have no idea. And you're like, oh yeah, you want the moussaka? Great, I made it a week ago, right? And a lot of people don't know. So I generally don't try and order those types of dishes. I stick more with grilled foods. So grilled meats, grilled vegetables, salads. I think eating family style is key. We eat like almost like tapas style. It's called mezedas. And so you eat a variety of small plates and you share as kind of a family. I think it's really boring to eat just one thing. Like it drives me nuts when I see families, a long family at a table and everybody has one individual salad and they order a Greek salad. And I'm like, what? Like, and there's 10 Greek salads on the table. And I'm like, why? I'm like, you order one salad, you share the salad. And then if you want to, an entree, then get, your own individual entree, right? So I would say eat family style. I think the bakeries are awesome. Go to the bakery, eat a cheese pie, spinach pie, anything that looks good. Like Nico said, just get it. It's all going to taste good. The bakeries, and then drink the coffee. Huge coffee culture in Greece. We drink coffee in the morning and we drink coffee in the afternoon. So is when we drink coffee.
And we drink at night.
And at night. We drink coffee
we also drink coffee at night.
Yeah. And then the way you order the coffee is whether it's with no sugar, medium sugar, or sweet is how you order it. And then you can drink like an espresso style coffee, or if you want the cream, then it's like cappuccino style. But yeah, it's coffee is huge. So
awesome. If it's let's say Nikos, it's like a special occasion that you look forward to every year, whether it's, I don't know, Easter or New Year's or your name day, what's that meal that you like? If it's like your name day, like I want someone to make this for me or I want to eat this, what is that?
There is no special day for a special meal. You can just say, I want this. Okay, we will. Okay,
so give us one dish that you just, it makes your name.
Well, I could eat moussaka the way my mother makes it. For
his mother. Huh?
Yes. I could eat a lot until I'm gonna blow up from the food.
All right, is there one kind of special dish or something that kind of
special dishes?
Lamb and potatoes, it's what they eat like on Easter. They'll roast a whole lamb and so lamb and potatoes. But there's just lots of dishes. I mean, from vegan to vegetarian. My sister and her husband are vegan, and they make a lot of Greek vegetable dishes, to meats, to just many things. I make a really good pasticcio, which is like a Greek lasagna. Yes, you want to come visit?
Yes.
Whatever can be eaten, we eat it.
Everything. We eat everything. Yeah. So, but yeah, I think for like special occasions, it's usually a roast of some sort, like a roast, like a lamb roast, like a leg of lamb, and some, with lemon potatoes. And it's simple, right? The diet is like salt, pepper, oregano, olive oil, and lemon is pretty much it. And that goes on everything. And they cook their meat. They cook everything to death. They like everything is well done in Greece. Even the vegetables are boiled. The meat is cooked through. I think the only time, unless you're at a really high-end restaurant in Athens or somewhere, then they may ask you, how do you want your meat cooked? And I'm like, oh, like, okay. Because generally speaking, they don't ask. It's well done.
Okay.
True.
Yeah. It's
That's
good.
very true. That's
like, it's fine. Don't worry.
No, I don't eat my meat well done in the States, but over there, it just has, I don't know, a different flavor to it. And it's just, you just eat it the way it comes, and it's delicious.
Yes.
Even well done, I believe it's juicy. It's still juicy. Even the well done here.
Yes.
Nikos, when you travel outside of Greece, have you ever tried Greek food interpreted by other cultures? Like, Like if you go to, I don't know, another country and then try how they make Greek food there, are you ever curious to try it or?
No, I haven't. I it no,
No.
I don't
Okay.
remember. No, no, I haven't done it as far as I can remember.
Okay. They probably wouldn't get it right anyway, but all right. How are you finding the Greek food when you're in the
Yeah,
States?
so I go out to eat a lot of Greek food just because. So I think Greeks from Greece don't go eat Greek food when they're abroad, right? They eat it 24/7 in Greece. But for me, I definitely will seek out Greek restaurants, and it's hit or miss. I think there's some great places in New York. There's a great restaurant in San Francisco that's wonderful. But generally speaking, I'm disappointed for the most part. Or there's a lot of restaurants that say they're Greek, but they're not really Greek. And you can actually tell by reading the menu based on the type of bread they're using. Like it may say like lavash bread. Well, we don't eat lavash bread in Greece. We eat a certain kind of pita bread, right? So you can just almost tell by reading the menu whether the food is Turkish or Lebanese, and then they slap on, oh, it's Greek food, because Greek food has this kind of connotation of like, oh, it's Greek food so good, and so we'll call it Greek, but it's not really Greek, right? We share a lot of foods that are similar to other cultures,
Mm-hmm.
which is great, but it's prepared differently. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's hit or miss.
So, do you guys eat as much Greek yogurt as the rest of the world since it became a trendy thing? Like all of a sudden,
Not anymore.
Greek yogurt,
We
and
used
then
to.
Uh, yes and no. I mean, I put it in my smoothie sometimes, or I'll have it with honey. I do have Greek yogurt in the fridge right now, so but yeah, I do enjoy it. But I think I eat more Greek yogurt in the States than I do in Greece. I don't actually eat Greek yogurt in Greece. I don't. It's not a. Yeah.
all right.
Yes,
Um,
it's something that you're always in front of it, so you don't.
Yeah, you don't eat it. It's not like it's. Yeah, you're like. Eh.
yeah,
Uh,
as exotic as it is.
No, it's not exotic at all.
yes.
You're like it's yogurt,
Yeah,
essentially.
exactly. And
Yeah.
it's quick.
All right, guys. What is something you wish people took away with them and learned when they visit Greece?
That's
It's hard.
hard. I think because it's the total package. I think it's the sea, it's the sun, it's the food, it's the people, it's the culture. Like it's kind of like a mix of everything. So I don't know. That's kind of a hard question. Um, just that, yeah, that it's a true culture, that Greeks are proud, they care.
Memories. Let's
Memory.
say memory. Good memories.
I always have good memories when I'm in Greece. I find that one thing that one of my best friends is Greek, and she always reminds me that the etymology of a word is Greek. Like, oh, like, and I always walk away from a conversation like learning a new word or knowing that it was Greek. And then when I'm with our Italian friend, it's like this constant battle between is it Italian or is it Greek? Who's better and this not? But essentially, all words and everything in life started in civilization starts in Greece. Yes.
Yes. Yeah, definitely. There's a really good book that I'm reading called Mythos, by Stephen Fry, I think is the author, and it's great, and it's all about Greek mythology, but you learn a lot of everyday words that we use now that actually came from ancient Greek times and Greek mythology, right? And he basically starts off with talking about how the world was created through the gods, right? Through the Greek gods and goddesses. So that's just a great, yeah, recommended book if you want to learn a lot of the words.
Yeah. Awesome. Guys, what let's teach the nation some simple Greek since we're talking about Greek words. How would you say hello in Greek?
Uh,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
Yasu.
Yeah.
It depends the way. It depends the way you want to.
If you were just seeing friends, would you say like just hey or hi?
Yeah,
Just
just
say
like that.
we literally shorten the word yasu. So yasu means hello and goodbye, and we just say ya. So yasu spelled like with a in English as a ya. So we're just like yeah. So
Like hello,
that's your
and then we
slang.
say yasus, and then yeah.
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 How would you say yes?
Nah.
Nah,
Eh?
Nah. Nah. Yeah.
nah, nah.
It's
Nah.
my
Yep.
Not
favorite word.
nah,
It's actually how
nah.
we say
It's a
yes in
tricky one, I
Korean as
believe.
well. It's quite funny. So I always say ne because it's
Yeah.
yeah, it's how we
Nah,
say
it means yes. You're
yeah.
always saying yes.
We say nah 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 nah. Like that's how I'll be on the phone and I'll be like nah 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 nah. Yeah.
You
How do you
never
say
listen
no?
though. When you
How-
say nah, 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 you never
No?
listen what the other one says.
yeah. It means you're not listening. You're like yeah 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 yeah.
Yes.
It means like
Yeah,
yeah
yeah.
yeah 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 yeah. But that's what we say. We're like I'm always on the phone like nah 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 nah.
All right, and how would you guys say thank you?
Ευχαριστώ.
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 Excellent. We have a question from Claire who asked, why are so many of the buildings white in Greece? Is there a reason? And is there a reason why the streets are so narrow?
Claire asked me this question earlier, so
Asking you
it's
again.
she knows. Well, the streets are narrow because of back in the days where the pirates used to exist. Because the people were wanted to protect themselves from the pirates, so one maybe two persons would feed in an alley. So yes, they wouldn't be able to slaughter them, drop them, or whatever. That's why they are narrow. So the houses are white. I heard of this a few years back. I couldn't remember why. It's because of of Honda. I won't say it in English, so I will use Honda. They decided that it would look better to use one color, which is going to be white and blue, instead of multicolors that they use to paint their houses. That's why they're white and blue. And it's left, it looks nice, and that's why it's still there.
Yeah, it's the typical style of the Aegean Sea. So you won't find that
Yes, it
architecture, the
fits.
white and blue, in other parts of Greece. So like where my dad lives on his island, all the houses are made out of stone, and there's green trees, so it looks completely different. So it's the typical architecture of that area.
So it's a very regional look, right? So
It's the colors of the Greek flag
Also.
also,
right? So that's pretty much why it goes in line with what Nico said.
It's with the it fits with the environment.
Yes.
yes, there's so much of it, right? Like the ocean and the clouds, and it just kind of fits with everything.
Well, and it's cooling, right? So I mean that's why. I mean, in the way those houses are built, they're cool in the summer and then warm in the winter time. So and then they repaint them almost every year, so that's why they look very, very white and clean. Greeks are very clean.
Not almost, every year.
Not every year, almost. I said almost, yeah.
Every year, they must look nice, so they paint every year.
Yeah.
They repaint them.
Yeah, they repaint.
That's awesome. So like actual homeowners are going out there and repainting their houses every year.
Houses, streets, everything.
Even the streets, the white lines in the streets that you see, like on the not cobblestone, but the stones, they'll repaint those every year too.
Amazing.
Maybe the roads more often. The street, yes, more often because people are walking and the white turns black, so they have to repaint it more often.
Oh, that's so interesting. That's fantastic, guys. All right, I think we are all done with questions, but is there anything else that any kind of last words, Nikos, we'll start with you, that you want to share about Greece with Trip Scout Nation?
Nothing comes to my mind right now, so I believe we covered almost. We covered a few things completely.
Awesome.
Nothing comes to my mind right now.
Well, thank you so much for sharing with us what about things about Greek culture. Anything, Ari, that you would like to add?
Just go to Greece. Go. I mean, and once you go, you'll want to keep going. Like, I know people that now have gone multiple times, right? You won't be disappointed. So, and then I don't know if you can share our contact info or through Facebook, but I'm more than happy to. Anybody that's interested and wants to talk more about it or help designing their trip. I have a lot of documents saved on, Athens and some of the other islands that I'm more than happy to share. That has a list of restaurants and beaches and things like that for certain places.
Everybody wants to move. Everybody wants to move to Greece. Everybody.
Can't blame them.
Nope, that's my goal. Half the year there, half the year here. So.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, everyone. You guys will be, I think, tagged into this live video. So if anyone has questions for Ari and Nikos after this, because I think a lot of people will be watching the recording, feel free to reach out to them, ask questions, put them in the comments, and they'll get back to you. But thank you again so much, you guys, for sharing a bit of Greece with everyone.
Thank you. This was very fun.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Sandy. Thank you, Nico.
All right. Thanks, everyone. Have a good one.
Bye.